What's going on, jerk faces? It's your boy Andy, and we at the Circular Jerks podcast are proud to present you Afternoon Delight.
Is it Tuesday already? Is it Tuesday night already, Andy?
Yes. Yeah. This is just this is kind of like a makeup stream because last night's stream was so horrible. It really wasn't anyone's fault per se. It's just that it's
What do you
well,
call it last night? Digital tyranny.
Yeah, that'd be the only thing I would point out as a fault is that it was basically digital tyranny because Skype forced me to upgrade my software, which then had a cascading effect to where like it didn't work with the streaming software, and then I had to get this patch. So and then also update the broadcasting software to accept the patch, and so it was digital tyranny. Like because for the majority of the time that I was using, I was getting the notification about Skype's desire for me to update my software. But I just disregarded it, and then finally they forced my hand, and I had to update the software, which then resulted in the FUBAR situation that happened last night. And so this is just kind of like a quick makeup stream. I doubt we'll pursue this any further than this, or even maybe like once in a while. But this won't be a regular thing. I don't foresee it.
It's not every Wednesday at 2:30ish p.m.
Right. Yeah. This is like this like we felt so bad about the quality of last night's stream that we felt compelled to provide this, and maybe go over some of the things that maybe were missed, or you guys were like you guys checked out because it was really, I mean, especially for on my end because of the echo. Just we wanted to maybe clarify some of our points.
Well, it is nice to be able to hear you, Andy.
Yes, or at least not hear me twice. Because I would imagine hearing me once is enough.
You didn't even have any black eyes either.
Exactly.
Well, I guess if I don't know if we want to recap anything from like last night, but we could talk a little bit about how Gillette has pretty much spit on their fan base or their
market demographic. Yes. Yeah. They basically threw all men under the bus with their latest ad campaign. Basically categorizing all men, not just not some men. Although if we want, we can get into the kind of propaganda elements within that ad. But they basically categorize all men as toxic.
Yeah.
And so it's like men. Just basically men are the worst. Now shut up and buy our razors.
Right. It's
you hateful toxic cisgender scum.
Yeah, this is I didn't know that was a viable option for a business plan, is to shit on the people who buy your products. And months. Yeah, probably about like 6 months ago, I ended up because razor for people who don't know, razors tend to cost a lot of money in the stores, and they're you have to have the two people at the store with the the keys synced up, and almost like they're trying to set off a nuclear bomb trying to get fucking razors, and then they cost a buttload of money. So I ended up switching about 6 months ago to Dollar Shave Club, which has been fantastic, by the way. But if but with this commercial coming out, it's like, man, if you haven't switched over to like one of those other, like Dollar Shave Club or Harry's or God, anybody else, I think this is a good enough reason where it's like, hey, you know what? I don't have to be told by some raving some jackass that thinks that they're the get woke go broke crowd about how I'm awful. So I'll go to a company that actually appreciates my business.
Right.
And I'll be so what I was spending on razors with, because I was just getting razors with Gillette.
Uh-huh.
But what I was spending on razors with Gillette, not only did I get good quality razors with Dollar Shave Club, but I got all their products too for essentially the same price. So it's like, yeah, it's such a much better deal.
Right. Yeah, Dollar Shave Club. We we will take your money to hawk your razors. So just putting it out there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, after this, I'm seriously considering signing up for Dollar Shave Club. Even though, I mean, right now it's not really a concern. Right now it's not really a concern for me whether I shave or not. But
well, I haven't shaved in a few days, so yeah, that's why I'm kind of.
I mean, I'm just keeping it trim. But I obviously have a beard. So shaving isn't that. What is it? It's not on the top of my priorities right now. But even when I would keep my face clean, shaven, I'd only shave once a week. And that's usually on Sundays. Because and then there's also the rare occasions where I would shave. When I went to go meet clients or whatever. But I mean, I honestly wouldn't shave more than 2 days a week. And so I'm able to stretch out like my razors quite a bit. So, but just to kind of, so I've already paid for my razors, and I don't really, Gillette's not really making that much money off of me because I stopped using the other products like the shave gels or their aftershaves. So they're really not making money off of me. But as a sign of my my adherence to free market principles, I'd sign up for Dollar Shave Club purely on principle.
Well, and that's it's see, unlike the left, we're not saying like, oh, whoever was in charge of this needs to lose their job and they're terrible and we need to blast them. And it's like, what? You know what? Okay, fine. If you think that we're terrible, I'm just going to go to one of your competitors and spend my money there.
Precisely. I mean, yeah. If somehow it was reversed and it was some like, if Gillette took a more traditional or conservative stance, it'd be the left, asking for the marketing director's head or whatever. I mean, just look at you don't have to look far for examples. I mean, there's what is it, the Victoria's Secret debacle just a few months ago, where Victoria's Secret said, oh well, this brand, this product is made for women, and that is our target demographic, and so statistics show even women want to see beautiful women.
Yeah.
And I don't know how that's objectionable. Because it's because every business it has a standard, and I think as a business you're allowed to have standards. Um, just like people who want to become astronauts. There's a certain standard to being an astronaut. You have to be in very good physical fitness. You have to have you have to be uh, smarter than your average person, and but no one's. I mean, it's gonna happen, but I'm sure. But no one's like decrying. It's like, oh, you need to allow morbidly fat people into space, or it's like, oh, why don't you have why don't you have a trans woman as an astronaut or whatever? It's just like, well, no one's like stopping a trans woman becoming an astronaut, but it's just there'll be different. There'll be probably other considerations, because like do they, will they be able to continue their hormone treatments, and there might be some unforeseen medical issues with maybe trans people in zero gravity. I don't know.
We don't know.
We don't know, because we haven't really because we haven't really this. People think that this thing has existed forever, but really, I mean, it's a really short window, like 15. Like I would say, at the earliest, like 15 years. This is entered in like kind of like the cultural consciousness, and at the very latest, maybe like 20 years.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like like if businesses aren't allowed to have standards, then what's the point?
Well, it's because what was it? You had was it the tissue was it a tissue company that they had like kind of like extra large tissues for like guys, which they ended up like getting rid of because it's like, oh, it's being mean to women for some reason.
Right, because it was I think it was Kleenex, and they had these like moist towelettes, and I think they were specifically
that's right, yeah,
they were specifically marketing it for men, so they said like man size, so it's like it's
on average tend to have a lot more real estate to deal with than women do.
Right, exactly,
not every guy, but most men.
Yeah, let's just say the average.
Yeah.
And I don't know like how that's like hateful or exclusionary to women. It's like well we're marketing it towards men. So like how is this exclude? I mean, it's obviously exclusionary, but it's not hateful. It's intentional. It's intentional, but it's not hateful. That I think that's what people are not registering in their minds. It's intentionally discriminatory, but it isn't hateful.
Right, and then you even had you remember the old secret like anti-perspirant commercials? Like it was the women's. It was like the byline was strong enough for a man, made for a woman. Because let's be honest, men tend to be a lot more smelly than women do.
Right. I mean, we're just like I mean, in general, we're just a lot more pungent.
We're a lot more pungent, a lot more sweaty. Mm-hmm. It happened. And
so we have like our our body chemistries are they work just a little bit harder.
Yeah, and they ended up changing like their commercial, so where you're watching it, it's like, the hell, what commercial is this for? It's like secret. How it talked zero about like the any deodorant, like it had nothing to do with anything. And it's the same thing with this Gillette commercial. You watch it, it's like, what the hell does this have to do with razors?
Right. I mean,
there is zero talk about what goes. Like they had kind of like a flashback to like one of their old commercials for like 4 milliseconds. Didn't talk about razors at all.
No, and I mean it's.
They made sure to feature Anna Kasparian waving her finger at us, though.
Right? Yeah, the same one who denounced.
They're fucking better.
Well, yeah. The one like supposedly like they're trying to bring awareness like about mistreatment of women or whatever, but it's like this bitch was on air saying that she did not respect women who voted for Trump. She called them dumb. She called them idiots. She said that she was better than those women who voted for Trump. So I mean, who's being more anti-woman? I mean, it's not the man who who notices an attractive woman and might go and attempt to ask that woman out. I mean, because there was that part in the ad where there was a woman who was dressed fairly attractively. She was definitely showcasing the assets. And she just walked by, and a guy found her attractive, and he was just like they make all these assumptions like. Like he was like for sure gonna go rape this person, but this virtuous this other virtuous man this other virtuous man stops him and is like, hey man, not cool. And it's like, hey, why are you being a fucking cock block? Why can't I just go and attempt to like hey make something happen? And if there's why assume that I'm I have nefarious intentions?
And normally I wouldn't really give a shit, but because the left they want to put everyone in a category intersectional box. Mm-hmm. It's like all the bad toxic men, white.
Of course, yeah. That was the other thing. I mean it's very prominent. Like all bad white men. Yeah, all the men who are behaving badly are white. And all the like all of the virtuous, righteous men were colored people. And yes, I'm saying colored people because it's the exact same thing as person of color, and it's just as degrading.
It is.
for reasons that we talked about last night, but I'll explain again.
You echoed about last night.
What?
That was what you echoed about last night.
Exactly, that's what I echoed about last night. That saying a person of color is the meaning because it's basically saying a person from Nigeria, a person from Japan, and an Eskimo are the same. That there are no inherent differences, or there are no cultural differences. That's what that's saying. That everyone is the same. Everyone who is a person of color or a colored person is the same, which is definitely not true.
Oh man, you've taught me something. I had no idea.
Right? I mean, yeah, because that's why I hate that term. It's like person of color. It's like that's just the same thing as colored person. I'm just gonna say colored person. It's like as a colored person, I think that you're a fucking idiot.
And you talk to people on the left. I've done it. It's like, how is person of color different than colored people? Tell me. I want to know.
Please, I mean, I bust the line from from Philadelphia, Denzel Washington. It's like pretend I'm 5 years old. Explain it to me like I'm 5 years old. That's what I do. And They ultimately can't because they know like their position is bullshit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the left. Like they're trying to appear as like being virtuous and everything, but like they're actually, don't give two fucks about, any sort of like minority.
No, they don't. They really don't. Because I mean, because if Black Lives, okay, I know this is beating a dead horse, but if Black Lives Matter really cared about Black lives, they'd be out, in Chicago, protesting gang violence. But they don't. They only protest like when a cop kills a black person. Um, you know, it's all just so tiring. I can't believe I have to keep saying this kind of shit.
I'm exhausted. Yeah, I'm
It
exhausted
is.
from
It's
it.
very exhausting because because to constantly bring up these points. It's a Sisyphean task. You're constantly getting that boulder to the top of the hill only for it to roll back down and for you to start all over again. And so
Yeah.
but I think we just have to keep doing our best. Um, but there are some times where I'm just like he's like we should just break up we should no longer be the United States. We should just go we should go and and start our own countries and
Yeah.
because the values and the priorities of someone in California are not the same as someone whose priorities and uh, or they're not the same as the priorities of someone who lives in Tennessee.
Nope.
They're just not. We're too fractured because we're not united. We're not united under anything. So we can't even agree upon like whether a country has borders or not.
Oh, well, countries can have borders, just not our country, because that's racist somehow.
I know, right? It's like, okay, well, like, what if Americans decided to illegally cross into Mexico? Does Mexico have the right? Does Mexico have the right of a country to declare their sovereignty and say, hey, you can't come in here?
Well, they do. That's the thing. Like, if people try to cross over there illegally, and it's not turned out very well for people.
That's true. Because I mean, yeah, on
both sides
southern.
of Mexico's border.
What was that?
On both sides of Mexico's border, because there's been people who have from our side that have gone down over there and ended up kind of being arrested or whatever, and then you have people that come up from Central America into Mexico, and they're tossed in jail, or sent back.
Right. Or yeah, I mean, yeah, because I mean, Mexico has its own southern border issues. Like they more or less allowed for the caravan to transgress their borders and to continue and go through their country to get to America. And I mean,
Like,
yeah, I mean, Mexico made like the token gesture of saying, hey, if you guys, for the migrants, like, hey, if you want to stay here, then you guys can have asylum. But they're like, no, we're just gonna keep going to America.
Yeah, because Mexico's not going to hand them a check.
Which that's not how asylum works. Because asylum is it's what is it? It's a legal status, and there are certain procedures that you have to follow, and it's not as though it's basically you are supposed to take the asylum of whatever country you get to first, and for these Central American folks, that's Mexico, and Mexico offered them asylum. But for some reason they're turning that down. But that you're not allowed to do that, or you're not supposed to do it.
You're not. No, that's not how asylum. It's not how it's supposed to work. It's like,
right,
okay,
exactly.
well, you turn it down. Well, then you can, pack your bags and head back. That's what's supposed to happen. But
exactly.
And then you have crap. I had a point and it just floated away. But yeah, no, it's just kind of really it's crazy how Now I remember what I was trying to say. Is like you look at back from in the 30s and 40s, when you had Jews escaping Germany before they got kind of like locked down, and that's them, people like seeking asylum and moving on, or you have people actually fleeing real issues where if I go back to my country, I will die.
Right. Yeah, I mean it's because also asylum. There is a definition for and there are certain set criteria that must be met for someone to apply for asylum. And a lot of these people, they're economic migrants. It's kind of similar to like in Europe, where a lot of these people, a lot of these people who claim to be refugees aren't even from war-torn countries. Some of them are from from African countries who aren't war torn. You're looking for economic advancement or opportunity, which doesn't fit the criteria for someone seeking asylum. Someone usually
Right.
who has the urgent sense of of danger for their lives, or they're being, or they're a class of people who are being persecuted by a government. Uh, but a lot of these people, they don't like, especially from Central America. That's not, they don't fit the criteria for asylum seekers.
Yeah, they don't. Because they're not escaping any political or they're not gonna die where they're at.
Yeah, it's just like well, because I mean, like a lot of the horrendous conditions that are happening, within like some of these South American countries, like particularly Venezuela, it's their fault. You voted for these policies. You voted for the politicians to implement these policies, and this is the result. It's like someone who sets fire to their house and then immediately goes to the insurance agents like, yeah, give me my money.
Yeah.
I mean that. There's no better. There's no better analogy than that. It's you voted for these politicians. You voted for these policies, and I mean I understand not everybody, but it's your country. It's your job to right the ship. It's not you can't have the expectation of it's like, oh well, it's all going to shit now. Well, you better go off to the next country. It's like that. That's really not how it should work.
Yeah, it's and I guess it's looking like there's another one that's starting to take form, and trying to move its way up here again. Which, to be honest, is like this is why we talked about the government shutdown and border security yesterday, and this is why we cannot we can't just you know what, fuck it, no one's budging and just give up on this fight, because if we do that, it's never going to stop, and the country will implode on itself.
Right. Kind of to the point that I was making, or I was trying to make last night. I hope you were able to hear it through the echoes, but sometimes we have to take a stand. On something that might seem completely trivial. Uh, you know, but sometimes the right action is to dig your heels in.
Yeah.
Especially when it's still like something small. So everyone's like, oh, it's so small, so insignificant. Why are you digging your heels in on this? It's like, so like this little this little snowball doesn't turn into a giant like Raiders of the Lost Ark sized boulder and crush me.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and then the other, and here's the other thing too is, this isn't about a lot of, you'll hear from the left how it's like, oh, it's just about wanting to keep, the brown people out. It's like, no, 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 that has nothing to do with anything. I don't care where someone comes from, as long as
right. If you're a 6 foot tall Norwegian guy overstaying his visa, I want you out too.
Exactly. I want people who are coming from whatever country that want to live that buy into the American experiment, the idea, the creeds that we stand for, that it's about working hard and not expecting handouts, but also in a sense being moral and virtuous. That's kind of like what America stands for. And those are the type of people that I want coming into the country. If people are coming in with that attitude, more the merrier. I want those people coming in with new ideas and new ways of thinking but they're wanting to be American. And hell, there's plenty of people who are citizens of this country that I want to get the fuck out, because they don't like the country. It's like, okay, well then go to your precious Scandinavian countries or wherever else you think is
Venezuela,
the great places to live that you
go fight go fight over pigeons in the park with your precious Venezuela.
If you want to eat cats, okay.
Yeah, if you want to go eat animals in the zoo, then go to Venezuela.
But of course not. But they're never going to do that because they know, their mouth says one thing, but they realize that it's like, yeah, it's pretty shitty in these other places. I don't know if I really want to go there. Mm-hmm. Because a lot of times the shit that they espouse, like if they're the ideals that they believe in, a lot of other countries don't really like those things. And they claim all this horrible racism that's systematic in our country. Well, why don't you go to some of these other places and see how oh, you know what? Maybe America
go to another country and see how enlightened they are. Yeah, go to Saudi Arabia, go to Qatar, and go see how enlightened those cultures are. I mean, for fuck's sake, Saudi Arabia just gave women the right to drive. In this century, not the last century, this century.
Yeah, it's a huge step, Andy.
Yeah, but oh no, we can't expect. They got to take baby steps. We can't expect them to evolve overnight.
Yeah.
So baby steps. So first give women the right to drive, and then maybe in the next century, they'll stop honor killings or public canings.
Yeah, or cutting off their genitals or whatever they're.
Yeah, in the next century. Yeah, it's like yeah, ladies, we're gonna get them in the next century. Jeez.
Yeah. Our country has its issues, but man, it's still what we stand for, what we've accomplished in our 300 years of 300 plus years of existence.
Mm-hmm.
Makes me pretty damn happy of where I'm proud to be from the country that I'm from. I like that, the freedom that although slowly those freedoms are being torn away from people like us. But,
mm-hmm.
The freedoms that we do have, I enjoy them. And, I'm going to fight like hell to keep those freedoms. And then when I'm dead, hey, it's on the backs of the people that are alive to care for that.
Well, I mean, I think our responsibility then is to make sure that the next generation is equipped to fight, to stand up and push back against supposed guardians of virtue and justice and all that jazz, and yeah, it's our job to pass on that that fire to stand up for true justice and and truth, period, full stop. That's it. Truth, not the truth, not a truth, but just truth. Yeah, believe it or not, we have come up to our 30 minutes, and I think that's a pretty good place to stop.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this little extra that we provided for you. Again, this probably won't be a regular thing. This is just we were compelled to offer this up to you just because of the crappiness of the quality of last night's stream, and I hope this little offering here kind of fills you in on what the spirit and the tenor of last night's conversation was. And I hope and I hope you were somewhat inspired. I hope that this will inspire you to subscribe and to click that bell notification so when new videos come up or are posted. And don't forget to give us a like. Because the more because you think that because that's the bare minimum, and liking actually does something. It actually shows that this that this kind of content is liked, it's popular, and it helps it get out in front of more eyeballs. And yeah, also share this. I mean, put this up on Twitter, put this up on Facebook, even though everyone Facebook is mostly dead, but do it anyways. Piss some people off. I do. I really, really do. I want those hate comments real bad. And why have you frozen? Yeah, your window is frozen. Oh no, you're for some reason it's not happening in the OBS. Oh, okay, we're gonna close out now. Thank you for joining us for this afternoon delight. I hope that you were tickled. I hope you were challenged, and I hope you're entertained. Don't forget to catch us every Tuesday at 8 p.m.-ish Pacific Standard Time for nocturnal transmissions. The conversation you could be having during the day, but having at night. Don't forget to also catch episodes of the main show, the Circular Jerks podcast. Those drop every Monday. And don't forget to check out the library of other videos like Robert's Show, Up by Up Down. And again, don't forget to subscribe to us to find out what to get the notifications when we upload new videos. And don't forget to follow us on our various social media accounts: Twitter @PodcastCOJ and Instagram @Circle Jerks Podcast. That'll be it, and we'll see you when we see you. Later.
Rockets in flight.